Thanks for coming back, everyone. This is part 2 of the Holly Fields interview. And Holly, I want to jump right back in again because we left off on a point that I wanted to make where a tweet came out, a screenshot of a tweet on Corey Feldman's Twitter account that said, "Very important news to read, as anyone who watches at YouTube videos or vids will know. I've had a few crisis actors making videos about me. Most I've never met, some bald-face liars." Corey, I know you're listening. It's bold-face liars, not bald-face, Corey. Just wanted to correct you on that one. So I don't know if you read that or not, Hal.
No, I don't pay attention to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
So are you being paid as a crisis actor? I just have to ask you that.
No, I'm not being paid as a crisis actor. No one's making any money. We're just trying to protect Corey's, Corey, and he's not here to talk for himself, so we're talking for him.
Yeah.
And Judy's, neither is Judy.
Okay, so Scott Schwartz, is he getting a little under the table on this one, or?
No, not that I know of. No.
Okay.
No, Scott's a great guy. Sorry, my dog's making noise. No, Scott's wonderful. I've known Scott. Well, we met back, when we were kids. It's funny because all the kid actors, all of us knew each other just from being around and doing all the charity events, and also Alphy's. We all went to Alphy's, and it's funny. I've known Scott for a long time. He's a wonderful guy. Yeah, super bright.
Holly, let's get to that for a minute because for more than a minute. Let's go to some inconsistencies that have been posted about Alphy's Soda Pop Club.
It's weird.
You know what? Without me even putting any bugs in anybody's head, why don't you describe the environment as you remember it about Alphy's?
Well, okay. Well, a lot of us I was homeschooled. So Alphy's was kind of just our way. It was kind of our equivalent to a high school dance or junior high dance, because we didn't have that, because we were all working on TV shows. So we would be with adults all day. And then that was our time to get together with our peers, were the Alphy Soda Pop parties. But from what I remember, I just remember all of us getting together and dancing all night, and the mothers being in the next room or in the room, sometimes in the room, but they usually sat in the lobby. And it was at different hotels. I remember the Roosevelt was one of the ones we went to a few times, and just all the cool kids were there. Nicole Eggert and Alyssa Milano and all those cool girls and fun people. And it was, sorry, listen to my voice. Just a lot of fun. I mean, just really a lot of great people. All the kids, we all got along. Everyone was so nice and just gave us a time to let go and let loose, because we were working as adults. We were working the same job as adults, as little kids. It was so much responsibility. So I loved that Alphy did that, because that was a normalcy kind of in our lives, getting to be with other kids that did the same thing we did. And I didn't see anything going on there that one person said. In fact, after he said that, a lot of us were texting and saying, "Did you see what he's talking about? No, did you?" And no one that I know saw anything bad going on. In fact, Alphy was really nice to everybody. And the mothers, he knew them all by name and always came out to see how they were doing. He was really fun. And I hope he's not what they're saying. I really hope not. Well, I didn't see that side of him at all.
At any point were you guys all escorted into another room when these big pack of pedophiles would come in?
No, that's crazy. No, it wasn't like that at all. No.
Okay.
No. There was one time when I first met Corey, when we did a photo shoot, and they brought us, it was a big room. It was all the mothers were in there too. It wasn't like a hotel room or something weird. And we were at a hotel, so it was a room at the hotel, but it wasn't like they made it sound so sleazy. And that kind of it upsets a lot of us, because that's our childhood memory that's kind of being tainted by his version of it.
Right.
And at the time, he admits he was doing drugs at the time. So, a lot of us weren't doing drugs at that time. So our opinion of it isn't skewed. And, gosh, no, it wasn't like what they're saying at all. And it's weird to see how people grabbed onto that so fast and believed what he said. Yet, they're going off on Alyssa Milano, who is the nicest person. She didn't know what was going on. I'm sure she didn't know what was going on. It wasn't anything like they're saying.
I mean, Holly, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Why should we believe a ton of reputable actors that were there during that period of time over one individual who has a less than honest track record? Why should we believe all of you over him?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It'd be interesting if a whole bunch of people were saying that, but I think it's just one person from what I know. I haven't researched it, but I've only heard him say that it was this, whatever he called it. And he said that the parents weren't there either, I believe. My mom went every single time. I come from a really good straight-laced family, and my mom would not have let me go there if she even thought something bad was going on.
I've also had a conversation with one of the mothers. I won't mention any particular names of anybody that's not going on record, but they've also commiserated amongst themselves, saying, "When did that happen?"
I know, yeah, that's what I was saying. I think when he first said that, and I saw that, I think it was Dr. Oz, I was sitting there like, wait, what? What? Like, it was, I don't know. It didn't happen from what I saw, and no one else that I know saw anything bad that I've spoken with or text with.
Right. Of course, that's not to say, obviously, it's not a perfect world. There could have been some incident, but everything that has been described is basically being refuted, and by every other person that has ever spoken out about this particular environment.
And you're talking about, well-known kid actors with parents that were extremely protective. If some parent got wind of anything happening, especially those parents, they would have grabbed their kids. And people say, oh, yeah, they did it for the fame. Alfie was not some big, famous producer like some people, like this one person was saying. He wasn't that. He was a guy. I guess his friend was a casting director or something. I'm not sure. But it wasn't some high-profile producer like he was saying. He couldn't get his jobs or not. He threw these parties. That was it. So no one would. There's so much stuff being said that isn't true, and then people buy into it. They believe it because when you have like a little bit of truth into something, along with a lie, because people hear that little bit of truth, they kind of keep going with that, and then they wrap some. They start believing the lies because there's a little bit of truth. And the little bit of truth would be that, yeah, they had parties and kid actors were there. And then you hear stuff about the kid actors, so they keep assuming that they're connecting kid actors to abuse. I never had abuse as a kid. I never saw abuse. And the only person I know had abuse was Corey Haim, because he told me back in the day. And it was one person. It was one person that abused him. And I didn't know about Corey Feldman back then. But other than that, like all the other kid actors are talking. There's some that witnessed things on the set, but not to the extent they're talking about. But it wasn't like what people think. They're talking about, gosh, I thought everyone was so protected. We were protected on the sets. Most of us, 99% of us, you have abuse with kids, with priests. There's abuse everywhere. So, and I'm glad it's being talked about finally, because it does need to get fixed. Kids shouldn't have to go through that.
Absolutely not.
I want people to, it wasn't like it was rampant on the sets. It's not like that,
Holly, I want to jump in as someone who I think arguably, or if you don't have a brain in your head, arguably, as someone who was going to be married to Corey, I think you knew him fairly well. So I'd really like you to go in depth from your personal experience of knowing him, interactions with Corey Haim. What were his feelings? What were his true feelings, intentions, relationships with Mr. Feldman from your perspective, from what you have seen and know of Corey?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, Corey Feldman is the one that set me and Corey Haim up on a date. I was doing a movie and I got a phone call from my friend Jason and Corey Feldman wanting me to meet Corey Haim. And at the time, I just wasn't interested in dating anyone. I was really focused. And I said, I'll just come over and I'll say hi to you guys and say hi to him and say, I went over there and Corey Haim came out and introduced himself because he back in the day when I first met him, it was just in passing. And I thought, wow, this guy is so sweet. He's just so loving and nice. Like he would hug people. Hello. That's how kind he was. And I liked him instantly. He was so nice. And we talked all night long. Till the sun came up. And so I agreed to go on a date with him. And the date consisted of us sitting in my kitchen. I just bought a house and he came over and he brought me a housewarming gift and just so considerate and such a gentleman. That's one thing. He was such a gentleman. And we sat across from each other. He was on one side of the kitchen. I was on the other. And we just sat there talking for hours and hours about life and comic books and just what he wanted to do with his life. And he wanted to, write. And he was writing music. And I had a record deal at the time. And we were writing songs together. He was just the epitome of kindness. And just seeing... Well, that was another thing. He also, when I first met him, he was overweight. And I was a big jogger. I was jogging 10 miles every day that day. I mean, those years. And so we ended up dating. And Corey ended up moving in with me. And that was what we did. Every morning we'd wake up and we would go jogging. So he had lost I think 30 or something. He ended up losing a lot of weight. If you look at the photos, you can see the drastic difference.
Right. And
we went over to Corey Feldman's house one time because they were going to do an autograph signing together. And Corey looked amazing, showed up at Feldman's house, and Feldman's mouth just dropped open. And on the way actually to Corey Feldman's house, Corey Haim said, I said to Corey, I said, Feldman's going to be so happy about how much weight and how good you've lost and how good you look. And he looked really sad. And he said, no, I don't think he's going to even mention it. And he just wanted so badly for Corey Feldman to be good to him. And like best friends should be. They should be rooting for each other. They shouldn't be jealous of each other or anything of each other. They should be rooting for each other. And we got there. And sure enough, Corey Feldman opened the door, looked at Corey Haim, and turned around, went downstairs, and then came back and they did the photo shoot. I don't think anything was mentioned about him losing the weight. And that was really sad to me. And I don't know about you, but my best friends, we've always rooted for each other and we're always there for each other and build each other up. And maybe that did happen. Maybe maybe I didn't see that part of him, but I definitely saw a side that there was a lot of kind of, I don't want to say jealousy. Well, even on our TV show, he mentioned he was jealous of Corey Haim years ago. Did you ever see that one? That interview?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was sad. That was sad to me. I just think that he should have been more positive in his life, I guess.
Well, it wouldn't.
That's from my own perspective. Yeah.
Holly, it wouldn't be the first time that Mr. Feldman put his foot in his mouth in an interview. I don't know if you've seen the interview, but there was an interview, I think, where he spoke something about Corey Haim's abusers or maybe.
Yes, I was saying that to you. Yeah, because and I was talking with Judy about that. It's funny because also best friends don't write a book, a tell-all book, and make their best friend look really bad. I haven't read the book, but I've been told. Yeah, he was doing the Today Show with Megyn Kelly and said, I can't name his abuser. And if it were multiple abusers, he would have said abusers. And I thought maybe it was just a misspeak and he didn't mean it. And then he was on Dr. Oz. He said the same thing again. I can't name my best friend's abuser, meaning it was one person. But in his book, I think I don't know because I didn't read it, but I was told that he said that they were passed around Hollywood. And Corey Haim told me it was one person, and he was so honest. In fact, he was a little too honest. He was telling everybody at one time, and I said, maybe you should keep it to yourself. And with his honesty, he also would tell his mom stuff that would be so embarrassing, and Judy would just kind of try to cover her ears, and she would laugh and say, Corey, you don't need to tell me everything. And Corey, that was his best friend, was his mom. They were best friends. he would never have asked Corey. I don't think he would ever ask Corey Feldman to tell his story. And if he did ask Feldman to tell a story, he wouldn't say, hey, make me look really bad in this movie of the week, or whatever it was, the movie they did, the two Coreys, or even the reality show. He would never say, hey, write a book and tell people really bad stuff about me. That makes me look bad.
It's funny you mention that because he has stated, Mr. Feldman has stated in the past that he was specifically pulled aside by Corey Haim to go ahead and convey this message. And I don't know if you heard this or not. On the channel, I interviewed Mr. DeAndre Adams. He was the ex-bodyguard of Mr. Feldman. That's verifiable. He went on record in the interview as stating that that particular incident did not take place. In my interview with him, he stated without fail that incident is false. He never left his side.
And there's other things, like a lot of inconsistencies. If you're paying attention, which I have been paying attention when I have seen the interviews, I kind of stopped watching them after a while because it kind of became a circus. But it's like, sorry, my dog is telling me. Didn't he say something about on Dr. Oz how God touched his shoulder and talked to him, and how God threw him out of the way of some vans kept chasing him or something? Sorry, she's so loud.
I thought it was his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skills.
No, I think he said something about God chose him to relay the message, and there was just so much stuff that he said on that show that I was like, what is he talking about? It was weird to me. It was weird. And maybe God, maybe he did. I'm a big believer in God. I believe in angels, God. I believe that. But I just don't think he chose Corey Feldman to... especially if Feldman's wanting $10 million before he's going to name the abuser. I don't think God would say, hey, ask people for all this money. He would just, here's the abusers, and protect victims, because these kids need to be protected. If these abusers if they're as bad as he's saying, why he needs to name the names and protect future victims. And that's what I would think God would want.
I would think, too, that if God personally touched me on the shoulder, I would think that I'd have a lot of protection. I don't think I would need the $10 million in security. If I've got the big man's hand on my shoulder, I really don't need a big bank account.
I think he's also said that he's being protected. But yeah. And I know a lot of film students that make amazing films for next to nothing. And they're incredible. You don't need $10 million to make a film. Usually the millions go to in the film. That's why they need a lot of the money, or special effects. But if someone's just going to go on there and name abusers, you don't need that much money. At least I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But I've done films for way less that were fantastic.
I don't think you've seen a bunch of these World of Warcraft outfits that he's been wearing lately. But that's another story. Well, you know what? Let's jump into. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but one of my favorite people, his publicist, Samantha Wayranch. Sammy, how are you? You haven't subscribed yet, by the way, Sam. But anyway,
who's that?
She.
Oh, okay. Who's the publicist? Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. She wrote such a heartfelt letter. It's Corey Feldman's publicist penn's passionate open letter. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, Judy sent it to me, and I think Judy read one paragraph, and she's like, what the heck is this? And then I read probably two paragraphs, and I just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say laugh, but I'm like, who is this person? I don't know who she is. And Corey told me about other girls he dated. She was never mentioned to me. And if they were dating at that time, he would have brought it up to me. But at that time, his mom had breast cancer, and he was actually with her all the time. I know that for a fact. So yeah, maybe she's someone that he met, and he's super kind. He was super kind. I always say present tense. So if it were someone that he is just a fan, like he was so kind to his fans. We were at Jerry's Deli one time, and he invited all of his fans. They were all kind of looking over at him. He's like, well, come here, sit down. And he ended up sitting down with his fans for like 3 hours. She might have misconstrued it. I don't know. But it's just a little weird that she's writing some long letter to Judy. And Judy is the kindest person and the best mother to him. So it's kind of weird.
I mean, this is a little bit condescending, if you ask me. And again, Sam's going to think that I'm, coming down on her a little bit. She took exception to me calling her a trollop. Sam, I do apologize
Oh
for
gosh.
that. I really don't know anything about your personal life, Sammy. It was just in fun. But she does go on to in the letter. She wanted to convey to Judy what it was like to be famous. She wanted to, I guess, to reiterate.
Really? I didn't know that.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't get to that part.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
yeah, she's a pip. That's Sammy.
Wow.
She did state that Corey confessed to her that he loved Corey Feldman, and correct me if I'm wrong, Holly. You come from from a theater background, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How many times in the theater would you say you love someone?
Oh, I still, not even in the theater. I tell the people all the time I love them because that's just how Corey and I always are. But, that's how I am and how he was.
Yeah. I think I've said that I've loved Corey Feldman at one point in my time. I think it was after I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I said, man, I love that Feldman. But anyway, she also wanted to convey to Judy, because they're so close. She wanted to convey to Judy in this that sometimes people just don't tell their mothers everything, or they don't tell a specific.
Yeah. Sorry.
Please jump right in.
It bothers me. No. Most kids don't, but Corey Haim did. Like I was saying earlier, Judy would put her hands over her ears and laugh and say, "Corey, stop." I mean, I'm not even going to say it on air, but something he said to her, which was so embarrassing to me. And Judy was just laughing, and I'm like, and she's like, "That's how he is. He was so honest." And it was adorable. Like, just how honest he was. He was like a little child in a lot of ways, in the ways of being innocent. He was just an innocent type of guy. He was so trusting. And I think that's probably why he trusted Feldman when Feldman brought the guy that abused him around. He was just, God, he was so trusting. But no, with Judy, he was so honest with her. So honest. Like I said, like on the on the reality show, for him to bring up what he did for international TV, that shows you how honest he was, because he knew everyone was going to hear it. He even told me, he said, they're all going to hear it. He said, I don't care. He didn't care. He was that type of person that he would just tell it like it is.
Yeah, I've never met him, and I just can't find anybody that I've spoken to, corresponded with, that will say anything negative about Corey Haim.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, you won't. I mean, anyone that knows him or knew him, you're not going to find anyone, because everybody loved him. He loved everybody. We were at Rite Aid years ago up in Lake Tahoe, and I was one aisle over, and these girls came around the corner, and they were like freaking out, and they said, Corey Haim's over there, and I told Corey, and he went over and found them, and he's like, hi, because they were so shy. They wanted to say hi, but you could tell they were just afraid to. And Corey knew that. And so he always would go over to his fans that were embarrassed or, to come over to say hi to him or shy. And he would say, it's okay, and I'm Corey. And he would introduce them and talk with them until I pulled him away. That's how he was. Just the kindest. Yeah, you'll never find anyone that says anything bad about him.
Well,
I'd be shocked if they really know him.
It's not true, Holly. There have been some negative things said about him, and ironically, they've all been from his, I'm quoting now, best friend.
Yeah.
The only negative things that have been published have been from his, once again, air quoting, best friend. Yeah. Holly, I think that's... Oh, sorry. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, I think that's probably why, I was asked to go on Dr. Oz, and a lot of us were asked to go on Dr. Oz to talk about that. Nobody would go on, and even Dr. Oz commented that he had called so many people to be on the show with Corey Feldman, and it was really hard, he said, to get anyone to go on the show to talk about it, because nobody wants to talk about someone that was amazing and so kind. It's just sorry, my dog is grunting. No, it's just nobody wants to. There's nothing bad to say about him. He didn't do anything bad.
That's a good segue.
To anybody.
Holly, that's a good segue into the next part. I want to ask everyone who's listening to this, Holly and I had talked just before the interview about kind of a Q&A where maybe if you all want to post comments under this video, anybody that wants to know anything about Corey Haim, I think Holly is gracious enough to make a bonus part, a part 3 on this, where she'll answer any questions that you guys have about Corey, and maybe share some other really cool, fun stories about him.
I have so many stories. I have so many great stories.
Yeah, so everyone really post, comment, ask questions, get on here and ask anything you can, anything you wanted to know
normal,
about.
Though.
Yeah, let's
normal questions.
Yeah, can we keep it clean, everyone? We know how you like to keep the YouTube comments clean. And I think that's going to be a great bonus segment, and we'll have Holly back for that, and I think that's going to be awesome. I'd like to hear a lot of these things too. So, but we do now have to say thank you so much, Holly, because I know hearing this, knowing some of the background, this still hurts, not having Corey here to this day and seeing all these things and hearing these things said about the family, and it's traumatic for you. I'm not even being over dramatic about this. This is very traumatic to see these and hear these things go on about him.
For all the mothers out there and fathers, imagine having stuff being said about your son that you know wasn't true, and then people believing it. People need to get the facts from the horse's mouth, I guess you could say, but people need to get the facts from all of his friends and family. But instead of listening to one person, listen to everybody and then make up your own mind. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe you. You don't have to believe Corey Feldman. Just listen to everything, and then, if you're a fan of Corey Haim's, make up your own mind about him. And just with all the people saying the good stuff about him, you have to know he was a wonderful person. And also I want people to remember about, I don't want people to focus on what Feldman's saying. I'd rather have them focus on Corey's goodness and his talent, like Lucas and Lost Boys. Anyone a fan of his movies, remember the movies and how talented he was. And that's kind of what I want people to remember about him and focus on.
And also I want to hammer this point home. Holly, as his fiance, I think that you have just about, with the exception of his parents, his blood relatives, I would say that you would probably have carte blanche if you wanted to say certain things or have liberties to say certain things. If the family of your ex-fiance, in print, verbally, asked you to not bring up the name of Corey Haim, would you publicly disrespect that request?
Of course not. No. I have so much respect for his family and for Corey, but I wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't have to ask me that.
Folks, I don't think there's anything more to say on this. Thank you again, Holly. We really, really, truly appreciate it. I know that you have not done this. You were reserved about doing this, and really appreciate it. And your dog. By the way, what's your dog's name?
Teddy. She's snoring so loud. I'm so sorry.
Teddy, shh. Yeah. We're sorry to keep you up. So
can you hear her?
a little bit. Everybody can hear.
Yeah. So embarrassing. She's loud. She's adorable. She's only like 5 pounds.
Everyone, like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Really, it helps circulate the video. It gets the word out there. It gets it pushed up in the algorithm, and post those questions for Holly in the next segment, which is the bonus, where we get to hear all the fun, cool stuff about Corey Haim. Thanks, everyone.
And we'll post some photos, too.
Oh, yeah. So, we are out, everyone. Thank you again.